The following story is about the excitement of the main character, who seems to lead an ordinary life and even looks weak in the eyes of the public. But here's the kicker: behind that ordinary appearance, he hides an extraordinary power that can shake the world and surprise everyone. Some of them choose to pretend to be weak, for a specific reason that will add to the dynamics of the story and give emotionally resonant moments that are sure to captivate the audience. Keeping watching this video and stay awesome. Let's go!
Welcome to the Outcast's restaurant. Follows Dennis, a former member of the strongest adventuring team who was expelled for failing to complete a critical mission. Not giving up, Dennis, a boisterous soul with a heart of gold, opens a restaurant in a remote village that welcomes outcast adventurers and unlocks his new level 99 cooking skills to use. The uniqueness of this anime lies in its blend of slice of life with a food theme which not only whets the appetite, but also uplifts the spirits and heals the emotional wounds of the guests through the warmth and deliciousness of the cuisine. Dennis's interactions with the customers reveal their backgrounds and build deep bonds of friendship, making the restaurant a symbol of acceptance and new hope for those who are considered losers. This show offers a heartwarming experience about the meaning of togetherness, the courage to rise from failure, combined with a light action-adventure vibe and simple action moments that bring a new, fresh experience for all fantasy lovers. The uniqueness of the story of Let This Grieving Soul Retire lies in the persona of its main character, Cry Andre, a legendary adventure group leader with a brilliant reputation, who chooses to retire as an adventurer and live a peaceful life. Unlike most protagonists in the action fantasy genre, Cry always looks for ways to escape problems, but he is blessed with infinite luck that often resolves conflicts without his own will. The combination of humor and tension, as well as the uncertainty of the protagonist's fate, forces him to return to action, reconnecting with his old powerful comrades and returning to a world of adventure full of danger and unexpected surprises. Sometimes, it's a satirical comedy that pokes fun at the classic hero tropes, providing a new and refreshing viewing experience amidst many overpowered anime themes. A unique action anime that tells the story of an immature protagonist who struggles to regain his dream of becoming the strongest adventurer. It focuses on Noor, who is so super innocent and humbleman that he doesn't realize his extraordinary power, which is often considered useless. Noor can parry everything, from wild monsters' ambush to thousands of sword attacks in the span of a single breath. The main appeal of this anime lies in the humor that stems from Noor's ignorance of his status as an overpowered figure. Hilarious scenes are created from the reactions of those around him who are amazed or stunned by his abilities, while Noor remains humble and kind to everyone, even his own enemies. This anime is recommended for viewers who want fresh comedy action and seek an inspiring journey of the main character in a fantasy world without excessive complexity. As the title suggests, the main protagonist in this story is a hero who is timid in his personality and socially awkward, unable to start conversations with others, and fainting every time he sees a woman. It is this difficulty in interacting with others that prevents him from joining the adventure team, even though he possesses the desire and extraordinary physical strength to win almost every battle on his own. Until 3 women suddenly offer him to join their adventure group. But Toto doesn't understand that they are all assassins assigned to kill him. Each princess exudes unique skills, while Toto always protects them with nervousness, and always faints every time he panics when interacting with them. Overall, this anime is quite good, and the story isn't just cliché. The spectacle runs smoothly without floppy CGI animation, and has a stable level of action humor.
Focusing on the Vash the Stampede story, he is a hybrid human with terrible strength who can easily turn any threat to dust. Even so, he wouldn't do that. Vash prefers to be a carefree, passive adventurer who often pretends to be weak in chronic kindness. His non-violent nature makes him strive to avoid using weapons and make the primary choice of upholding peace and love. But in desperate conditions that force him into action, he quickly proves that everything people say about him is true. His reputation as a high-priced fugitive and the nickname the Humanoid Typhoon for his tendency to wreak havoc. Vash's ability to connect with others and influence them emotionally is one of his most significant personal strengths. This principle to be very contrary with the ideology of Million's Knives, Vash's older twin brother and main antagonist of Trigun series. He believes that the survival of the fittest considers humans to be weak creatures that should be destroyed. One of the new underrated anime that aired in 2024 still hasn't been discussed by many people. Behind his poker face lurks a lethal professional hitman in the underworld, often called the Fable. He works for a criminal organization and has been raised to legendary status, with a reputation for being capable of murdering any man within 6 seconds. 6 years after his debut, Fable's boss told him to hide in Osaka because his actions attracted too much attention from the legal authorities. Fable saw this as an opportunity to experience ordinary life and perhaps discover the lost human values after working as a ruthless assassin. He decided to take on a new identity as the brother of a woman who played the role of his driver. Trying to adapt to his new life without killing, Fable is still being harassed and constantly monitored by the Yakuza, who are always watching him as a dangerous man and want to remove him. Of course, these situations make him always placed in a life or death situation. Challenges arise when Fable is forced to choose to protect loved ones when he's still wrestling to escape from his dark past and violent history. The Legend of the Legendary Heroes is an anime that tells the story of Reiner Lute, a lazy student from the Roland Empire Royal Witch Academy who travels in search of the relics of legendary heroes from the past. In many situations, Reiner's careless nature is often underestimated by his colleagues, such as Ferris and Sion, who do not realize his potential and doubt his ability as an emissary of the kingdom. But in the truth, Reiner holds tremendous power, which got him one of the most deadly wizards in the Roland Kingdom. With a cursed ability known as Alpha Stigma, Reiner can analyze and copy any magic he sees, making him extremely dangerous in desperate circumstances. Therefore, he resolved to hide his true power because the impact of Alpha Stigma can be triggered by a murderous, uncontrolled monster, and one mistake could lead to the instant death of everyone around him. Whether it's the main characters or the side characters, all of them have distinct personalities, but still really fun to watch and become the best part of the series. I also like how there are many flashbacks in the story, but here they tell that the characters don't forget what happens and try to develop with very smart and not trying to rush.
The main protagonist in this story is a genius cultivator in his past life, who was skilled in forbidden dark techniques and chose the demonic path. After facing a terrible tragedy and being killed by his own allies because he was considered a threat to the cultivation world, Wei Hushan is reincarnated in the body of a clumsy boy with a crazy persona and refrains from showing his true strength to complete a secret mission, to uncover the mystery behind events that led to his death. This attitude of pretending to be weak is not just a mask, but a form of self-protection and a strategy so that he can act discreetly through everything, without repeating the tragedies of the past or endangering those around him. The Master of Diabolism's narrative utilizes Wei Hushan's second life as a lone wolf and highlights the unexpected bond after his encounter with his former classmate. Each episode features an epic combination of high-level battle animation, complex dark fantasy drama, and a meaningful journey of redemption.
It tells the story of Wang Ling, an almost invincible young cultivated with extraordinary powers that are far beyond his control. He has a power that can destroy the world with just one action and do anything with his powers. Since childhood, his power was so great that he could cause damage without meaning and make people around him afraid to interact with him. In effort to make him blend with society, his parents created a special seal to control his power that could temporarily dampen his cultivation ability. Wang Ling himself preferred to live a quiet life without getting into big trouble, and then he decided as far as possible to live a normal with a very low spiritual force in high school life. In order to be inconspicuous, he deliberately gets mediocre grades, avoids conflicts, and controls his emotions to prevent massive damage. In a critical situation that arises while trying to protect a loved one, he has to act in a way that will shock the people around him when the amulet is on the verge of breaking. Besides the action, this story reflects friendship and romance, which adds other value but is still a comfortable and decent show to watch. Blessed with many kinds of supernatural abilities, ranging from telepathy to X-ray vision. He considers this so-called blessing to be nothing more than a curse. Saiki refuses to use his extraordinary powers for personal gain. Instead, he tries to get along with everyone and does everything to avoid attracting the attention of others. He just wants to live freedom without an annoying problems, where ignorance is the source of happiness he hopes for. With telepathic abilities, he can hear other people's thoughts, which often makes him feel uncomfortable. For this reason, he chooses a strange appearance with 2 pink antennas located slightly above each ear, which limits his misery. Combined with the presence of his school friends who behave strangely, such as the empty-headed Rikinendu and the delusional Shunkaidu, Shiki accidentally gets involved in an event he did not expect and is forced to deal with the craziness of the people around him. Through a humorous and slice-of-life approach, the disastrous life of Saiki K shows that having great power does not always mean living an easy life. Mob Psycho 100 is an anime adaptation of a manga by One, also known as the creator of One Punch Man. The story focuses on Shigeo Kageyama, known as Mob, a teenager with extremely strong psychic powers. Feeling isolated and uncomfortable with his powers, he tries hard to live a normal life and avoid the attention of those around him. From all the Mob's psychic powers, what he fears is that his uncontrollable emotions will reach 100%, which will be triggered by a catastrophic event that will make him completely unrecognizable and cause a violent outburst. Therefore, he decides to join the Exorcist Agency under the guidance of Arataka Raigen. In fact, he was a scammer who pretended to be a psychic and used the powers of the Mob to make a fortune. Some of the events involving Raigen will later become the main comedic element of the series, where Mob struggles with self-discovery and how he tries to control and use his wisdom to mitigate the disaster caused by his extraordinary psychic powers. In the world of Plunderer, everyone has a count printed on their body, which represents anything related to their survival. If the count is eroded to a lower level, it will drag them into the abyss and lead to death. Focusing on the story of Lichtbach, a mysterious masked man who first appeared as a pervert who was adept at seducing beautiful women. Many people mistakenly thought the negative count printed on his left hand represented his true life status, but it was actually just an anomaly of his own making that showed the number of times girls rejected him. Licht's true count was engraved on his longsword based on the number of enemies he had killed. He has revealed his identity as the strongest living hero from 300 years ago. With all his reputation, he had the nickname Ace of Flashing Strikes. It means his light speed movement, which he often uses to defeat his opponents by simply moving near them. As Plunderer progresses, the audience will see Licht's past story, which will be connected to the unfolding mystery of the legendary Ace and the truth about their messy world. This is one of the isekai anime that has caught the attention of viewers in the last 2 years. The main character is ambitious with power, but with a unique comedic plot approach. Reborn in a fantasy world as a noble family named Sid Kegano, he consistently pretended to be weak to build a shadow organization to support any heroic scenario he desired. In an alternate world where magic is commonplace, he realizes that all the conflicts and enemies that arise result from Sid's imagination. Sid often creates situations that seem dangerous for himself and his surroundings, but he always has a very accurate backup plan to turn things around. It's all for his own satisfaction, even though some of him appear with other identities. He deliberately creates another weakest persona and allows himself to be humiliated, underestimated, and bullied by everyone. All he does is cover up his true power and stealthily solve problems. As Shadow Garden's number of members and influence grows, it becomes increasingly clear that the antagonists of the Cult of Darkness are not as superficial as Sid would like.
The story follows Monica Everett, a talented young witch who chooses to hide her powers and avoid public attention. With her chantless magic, which efficiently defeats many enemies in a short time and deals tremendous damage, she shuns her reputation as the kingdom's best 7 sages, but she chooses to live in isolation in the forest. The plot unfolds through a mission of disguise at Serendia Academy, where Monica, despite her social anxieties, is tasked with secretly guarding the second crown prince without revealing her true identity. The dynamics of the aristocratic school environment and Monica's efforts to protect the crown prince are complex. Monica's internal conflict related to shame is combined with external threats that uniquely reveal her true abilities. Every episode is a mix of a beautiful fantasy world and heartwarming moments. It balances magical action, royal political drama, and aristocratic school intrigue.
In collaboration with TMS Entertainment, Sakamoto Days is expected to become the best anime for the winter of 2025 by bringing adaptation of the spectacular manga by Yuto Suzuki to life on the screen. The plot revolves around Taro Sakamoto, who was once a legendary and feared hitman and one of the most powerful orders in the Japanese criminal underworld. His reputation was so enormous that his opponents trembled at the mere mention of his existence. Everything changes when he falls in love with Aoi, an ordinary woman who works at a convenience store. For the sake of his love for Aoi, Sakamoto decided to retire and live a simple life with his family. The decision was not as easy as one might have thought. Sakamoto's main enemies are coming from his past, including his former fellow members, who have deemed him a traitor who has broken the rules of the assassin world. Together with his new partner and store employee, Sakamoto strives to save a peaceful new life with his small family. Although his body has now turned obese, he still has excellent fighting skills and always tries to resolve any conflicts with his past associates without killing them. I really appreciate you watching all the way to the end. Now let's discuss together in the comments about those anime videos where the characters are super strong but act like the weakest man for some reason. And if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe so you can stay updated on all the latest content.
Have a nice day, everyone. I'm signing out, and peace.